today about is like the what you should be executing right now. And I want to give you kind of a bigger picture, and then funding is it's the week of funding for find them, fund them, run them. So I'm going to get into some funding as well. And I've been talking all last week. I've been talking to so many people interested in storage nerds, and I've been going over basically the 4 stages of like investing in self-storage. So I figured that I would do that also this time as well. I would do it, and so that way you guys had an overall picture, and then we'll get into some funding stuff as well. So because a lot of people do ask about money, because it's funny because like we have the application for storage nerds. And you know, like one of the questions on the application is, you know, what is your biggest challenge? You know, what's the challenge that you're having right now to move yourself forward to be able to do this? And I would say 80% of all the applications is finding and funding, right? How do you find these? How do you know if they're a good deal? And how do you fund them? Like, Stacy, how do you own 13 storage facilities, right? So those are kind of the big 3 questions. And the funniest thing is that like, those are the ones that are like, I would say of all 4 stages, that is like, it's not important. But the truth is that when you buy storage, the most important thing is how you manage the facility. Right? Because you are actually really buying a business. And, you know, even though it's an investment, everybody thinks of it as real estate investing, it's really a business. I mean, you have like retail customers, you know, you have customer service, and you have tenants, and you have to like deal with all that. And you really do need to be treating like a business, and you need to have a P&L and a balance sheet. Every facility that I've ever bought, none of the owners had a P&L and a balance sheet. And, you know, and actually, you know, how you manage your facility and how good you are at managing it ultimately, you know, is how you're going, you know, how much it's going to create, how much money you're going to make, right? Because commercial real estate is based off of the income that asset is making, right? So this is a value add for asset, you know, an asset-based lending, right? So nobody ever thinks, like nobody on all of the applications that we had, there's not one person that said, you know, I really am concerned about like how to manage these things, right? You know, it's like always like, how do you find them and how do you fund them, you know? But the truth is that stage, the management stage, is the most important. So keep that in mind. So anyways, so we're going to get into the 4 stages of investing in self-storage. And I'll kind of walk you through those so you have a broader idea of how it works. And then if you have any questions, just put them into the chat. I'll try to get to them as well. Okay. But stage 1, all right, is finding them, right? You need to find them, right? So stage 1, you need to be building your list. Okay. Now, remember, the way that I teach is you need to be going directly to the owners. Now, yes, there are a lot of storage facilities for sale right now. If you go to Crexy, you will see a lot of storage facilities for sale. And hey, maybe there's a couple good, awesome ones or great ones in that bunch. You have to weed through all 700 of those. Call all the owner, call all the realtors, get all the information so you can run the information. You can run the numbers, all right? But typically, honestly, there's only really 200 of facilities. There's really typically only 200 facilities that are for sale on. Over the last 6 years that I've been doing this, I've only ever seen like 200 and maybe 250 storage facilities for sale. And then like in the last year, it's just like boom, everybody wants to sell their storage facility. All right, it's like so weird. Now that kind of shows you how the market is as well too, right? And there's going to be a lot of really good opportunities this year. But I teach to go directly to the owner because you can get okay deals on Crexy, but you can get great deals by going to the owner. Okay, so that's kind of how I teach. Now, obviously, you can take all the skills that you learn through everything that I teach, and you can go into Crexy and it's the same thing, right? But I teach build a list of owners. All right, building a list of owners and then calling those owners, right? Getting a hold of those owners. Okay. Our owners, okay, are kind of the first two steps of stage one. And then you need to learn deal analysis. Okay. And so deal analysis is like, it's actually really not that difficult if you have a good, a spreadsheet, if you have a good way to analyze things, and it's really not that difficult. Now, understanding the concepts of like cash on cash return and ROI and like this kind of stuff, you need to really understand that cap rates and stuff, but you need to understand commercial deal analysis. All right. So if you do not understand commercial deal analysis, honestly, this will be kind of like, something that it just takes time and practice. But if you have a good like spreadsheet, or if you have, something that you can use to run numbers on, it really isn't that difficult. So really this is the finding and this is the deal analysis. How do I know if it's a good deal? Look, stage one, I already got those covered. Right, and there's still 3 other stages. So just think about that. Finding and funding, finding is really stage one, and inside stage one is also deal analysis. Okay, so in finding them is also deal analysis is also included in finding them. Okay, so you're building a list and you're creating a list of owners, and then you're calling those owners. Last Monday I went over scripts, right? That's what I went over. Was the scripts. When you call the owners, what do you say? That's what I went over last Monday. And deal analysis is getting the right spreadsheet to use to run the numbers, understanding the terms of commercial deal analysis. Okay, now you can get my spreadsheet if you want, my deal analyzer. You can join coaching storage nerds, you can get that, or you can just get it somewhere else. Okay, but you need something to run deal analysis. And then that reminds me, I talked to a guy once, and he set up a consultation with me, and he was like, I just want to know if my deal is like a good deal or not. So he had it's like, I just want to know if my storage facility is a good deal. So he had bought this storage facility, and he did not even know if it was a good deal or not. He just was like, and the reason he bought it is because the owner offered owner financing, right? And owner financing, it's not always a good deal. Right? The numbers have to work. And so he bought the facility for $1.4 million. And he gave me all the information, what he was making and everything. And I ran the numbers and came up with a valuation of like $1.2 million. So he had overpaid by $200,000 on that facility. Right. And that's because he was owner financing. It was 0% down. It was 0 down. And he was like, I just took it. And I said, okay, so I said, now you have a facility that's worth 1.4 million, 1.2 million, and you bought it for 1.4. So what that means is that you need to raise the rents, and you're going to have to hold on to this property, right? And that was actually pre-COVID. So maybe now it's worth a lot because rates went up and stuff. But man, he was down to like 200. Okay, building list, calling owners, deal analysis. And then something keeps beeping. I don't know if that's me or what. So if I get dropped, I apologize. Okay, so deal analysis. And then making the offer. Negotiating. And then getting it under contract. Okay. So you build a list, you create your list of owners, and then you call them, you get all the information that you need, and you run deal analysis, and then you make the offer based on the deal analysis, and then you negotiate that offer, and then you get it under contract. All right, that is stage one. And the goal of stage one is to get the facility under contract. All right, to get the facility under contract. Remember, there's 4 stages. So, yeah. So inside the coaching program, essentially, this for us is 90 to 120 days. Okay. It's going to take that long to get it under control. And that's if you are executing all that you do, if you're taking action, if you're actually building a list and then calling, building a list and then calling, running deal analysis. This all means running deal analysis to get everything that you need from the owner takes a lot of work and effort. It takes a lot of time because then you have to always get on top of the owner and then, well, I need this and I need this. Okay, so this is really 90 to 120 days if you're actually taking action and looking for deals. Now, everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own path. So if you're doing this like a couple hours a week, it may take longer than somebody's doing it like 20 to 30 hours a week, full time or whatever. And I have that's one of the questions I have on the application is like, how much time do you have in order to do this? You know, if you only have like a half a day once a week, it's going to take a lot longer than if you can really be like, I'm all in, I'm here. It's like, I lost my job and I'm just gonna I'm moving on to storage or whatever, so anyway, that's 90 to 120 days. And the goal is to get it under contract. Making the offer is easy because you just make the offer. You have to put the offer together, obviously, but you make the offer. And then the negotiation is like very important. This is what we went over in the scripts last time. So scripts last week, I went over calling owners to see if they want to get an offer. And then I also went over after you put the offer, what do you say to the owner to get them to want to work with you, right? So it's really two different types of scripts, okay? And those scripts are in, of course, you get those in Storage Nerds, in the coaching program.